Shalom, we're back. It's a lot going on, so let's go ahead and just jump into it. We're still in the year of 5783. We found ourselves in the season of Passover or Pesach. This is the beginning that the Most High Yah told Moshe, this will begin the beginning of your year. So you want to make sure that you start your year off right, and you do that by practicing or celebrating or rehearsing Pesach or Passover. He commanded Moses on the 10th day of the month of Abib, take a firstling, a lamb no greater than a year old, and inspect it for these 4 days. And on the 14th day, I want you to roast it and lift up me as a whole burnt offering. That means everything had to be done in its wholeness and completeness. Okay? And this is a picture of Yeshua HaMashiach, a snapshot of Yeshua HaMashiach as our Passover lamb. So let's go and get right into the word. I want to look at Genesis chapter 1, verses 13. I'll see how far we can go down. It looks like 18. And the evening and the morning were the third day. Okay? So this is God's creation. And we're moving from a grass yielding seed and trees into something else that was being developed at the time. And Elohim said, let the lights in the firmament of the heavens separate the day from the night. Okay? And they will be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. So this is when he established the constellations. This is when he established the sun. This is when he established the moon. This is when he established all the stars, billions of stars. He knows every name, every last name of the stars. And we see that. He said, let them be for what? Let's read the last one again. He says, separate them, separate the day from the night, the heavens, and let the lights be in the firmament of the heavens to give light upon earth. And so it was. I read the wrong verse, I'm sorry. Verse 14, and Elohim said, let the lights in the firmament of the heavens separate the day from the night, and they will be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years. So he was establishing time for man. So why would he do that? Because you have your time, and he has his time. And it already had been in his mind to have a family. And he knew that certain times of the year, he would want to spend time with his family on earth. So he had already been, before he put man here, he had man in his mind. Amen. He had the man, his wife, his children. He wanted them to develop a relationship with him. So I want you to think about how that's relevant to Passover. Unleavened bread, first fruits, Feast of Weeks. How it's relevant to Hanukkah, not Hanukkah, I'm sorry, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and Hanukkah. These are his feasts. Of course, the last one isn't one that we have to celebrate, but it's relevant. Because Yeshua went in the temple and got up and spoke some things. But those 7 feasts are mandatory for all those who in Yeshua HaMashiach. Okay? Romans 8, verse 14 said, if the person does not have Yah's spirit, he's none of his. And if you have Yah's spirit, you will want to keep these holy days, the holidays. If you do not have Yah's spirit, you could care less about these. But these are rehearsals. We need to be rehearsing. Let's go on and move on. Let's take a look at Genesis chapter 2, verses 4 through 7. And Yahweh formed the man out of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living soul. Question here. He said, what does this have to do with Passover? Well, it has a lot to do with Passover. What other creature or being that we see in the creation, the Most High breathing his breath or himself into man? You don't see that. You don't see Yahweh breathing his breath of life into a man. Okay? Now, I'm not saying he didn't do the same things with angels, but there's no record of it. So man is special in the sense of how he's created. And there's something Yahweh was wanting. Even today, he desires to fellowship with us. You know, this is a good opportunity for us to fellowship with him. Verse 5 says, Yahweh Elohim planted a garden in eastern in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Okay? So I want you to think about this. Why did he put the man in the eastern part of the garden? Okay? I believe because it was a direction, because he knows all. He's omnipotent. He's omniscient. He knows all. He knew what direction he would have the man and his descendants and his seed go. So he planted it there, you know. That's why. Verse 6 says, and out of the ground made Yahweh Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, and the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So you have every tree planted of good things. You know, in the book of Eden, it talks about these different trees, fragrance trees, and I believe these fragrance trees, these different type of fruits trees, were in the Garden of Eden that we don't have today. But in the midst of the garden, he put a particular tree. I'm going to assume it's on the right-hand side, but don't quote me, as is in fact. It's just how Yahweh moved. In the center of the garden, he put the tree of life, tree of life. I've always believed that was Yeshua HaMashiach. And then beside it, on the left-hand side, well, let's say he put the tree of knowledge, good and evil. And verse 7 says, and a river went out from Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became 4 heads. All right, let's pick up back in 8. 8 says, no, let's not read 8. Let's pick back up in 12. And Yahweh Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. Okay? So it was put in there to work the garden. You know, evening came in the garden, he was supposed to dress it and keep it. And when you say keep it, you want to think, keep all predators out of it. Anything or anybody that's not supposed to be in there, keep it out. Amen. I don't believe that there were snakes in that garden, and there's no support. There's no support. There was any snakes in that garden until we get to the next chapter. But he was put in that he was put. Verse 12 says he was put in the garden, okay, of Eden to dress it and keep it. So keep it maintenance, keep it looking nice, and protect it and guard it. Okay. Let's take a look at let's go ahead and move down to Genesis chapter 3. Genesis chapter 3. And it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field and of Yahweh had made. So it's the serpent. Okay? The serpent was subtle. So we're talking about a personality. When Yahweh introduces himself, He's the chief personality and the biggest personality. Then he created man. Okay? Adam was that guy, so to speak, and he had a personality too. Then you have Eve, was created from his rib, uh, which if you study it further, is that goes in the DNA, and rib is interpreted ribosomes. Okay, but anyway, what we can see from this particular verse is that everything's cool and peaceful and in order till this one personality comes in the garden. And Elohim, one of the things he taught me early on, your life is a door. Torah family, gospel family, remember this as we move forward. Your door, your life is a door. So be very, very, extremely careful who you allow to get through the door. Here we see Ha-Satan, the serpent. And because he was a cherubim angel, he could put on any outfit. He could form himself into anything. He has many disguises. Okay? And he was given permission to tempt Eve. So, we need to understand these things, that this is a big deal. So once you see this personality enter the garden, unchecked, okay, not corrected, because the serpent was never supposed to be in the garden. Yahweh told Adam to drive it away. So let's see where he was when he was supposed to be driving away. All right. And he said to the woman, have Elohim said, you shall not eat of the tree of the garden? Okay. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, ye should not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. Okay? So let's go back and take a look at Genesis chapter 2, verses 12. It says, and Elohim took the man and put him in the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but the tree of knowledge and good of evil thou shalt not eat thereof, for thou shalt die. Okay? So next verse 15 says, and Yahweh Elohim said, it is not good that man should not be alone. I will make him a suitable helpmate. So, but Eve said in verse 3 of chapter 3, it says, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. Well, how can she say that if she wasn't even created at this point? People of the Most High Yah, when you're asked anything by anybody, and you know you don't know, you know you weren't there, keep your mouth shut. I said, keep your mouth shut. She should immediately went and got her husband. And let's say he wasn't far. He wasn't far. He never stepped in. I don't know why he didn't. Maybe he's amazed they had company. But he never stepped in. But she was speaking and talking about something what she just didn't know what she's talking about, because Most High Yah never talked to her about any of these things. Let's read on down to verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, no death will come on you. You won't die. So Satan told her, basically, that the Most High Yah was a liar. He was a liar. Yahweh said, if you eat this fruit, he told Adam, if you eat this fruit, you're going to die. And he said, if you touch it. And Yahweh never mentioned anything about touching. Let's go back to verse 3 of 14. 13 and 14. And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you mayest freely eat, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat thereof, for in the day thou doest eatest of it, thou shalt surely die. Okay? He gave off the tree of life. He gave off every tree. And Yahweh told him, the day you eat this fruit. He didn't say the day you touch this fruit. He didn't say the day you look at this fruit. But the day you consume this fruit. Okay? So because he said eat, I'm assuming some type of consumption. So you have his wife over there running her mouth to a personality she didn't even know. To her family, gossip family, women of God, young women of God, stop talking to strangers. Stop talking to strangers. And it's not that, you'll appear not to know anything. But be content what you do know. Be content with having a prayer life. Be content by staying in the scriptures. And you do yourself a great service. Because the enemy attacks, he always attacks the weaker vessel. Unfortunately, the man was not on his job, and he didn't offend and run the devil off. Amen. He that has ears to hear, let him hear what the Spirit of God is saying. Let's look at verse 5. And Elohim doesn't know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as Elohim. Ye shall be as Elohim, knowing good from evil. Well, Yahweh didn't want them knowing evil. That's why I told them not to partake and consume anything off the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He didn't want you knowing evil. What's wrong with just knowing good? What's wrong with just knowing righteousness? And look at our children today. Oh yeah, they know evil. They commit evil acts. Let's take a look at verses 8 through 10. And they heard the voice of Yahweh as they were walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh, Elohim, amongst the trees. And Yahweh called unto the man and said unto him, where art thou? Notice he called the man, he didn't call the woman. Why did he call the man? Because he left the man in charge. What did I say? Because he left the man in charge. Men, you're in charge of your households, in your homes. Man up. And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. Okay. He hid himself. He was afraid because he was naked. Well, before they talked to the serpent, they weren't afraid. Before they talked to the serpent, they weren't naked. What changed? What changed was a conversation with the devil. One conversation with the devil will change your life. To our family, gospel family. Just one conversation. Let's take a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 21 and 22. I'm reading out of Aramaic. I don't bring my bookmarkers on. Bear with me. You cannot drink the cup of Master Yahweh, the cup of Yeshua, and the cup of demons. You cannot be partakers at the table of Master Yahweh and the tables of demons. This is a table. I cannot partake in the things of the Most High Yah and the table of Satan. Yah's not going to have it. He will say, just go ahead and serve Satan. That's not even lukewarm. If you're going to serve Satan, serve Satan. If you're going to serve Yeshua HaMashiach, serve him. By way of death, burial, and resurrection. It'll be many that are serving him. Oh, that cup is almost halfway empty. Somebody's been doing a lot of drinking. A lot of drinking. They weren't sipping. They've been gulping. I said we about almost halfway there. Oh yeah. He that have to hear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit of God says, because he is not playing in this hour. But he is just and he is fair. So verse 22 says, or would you provoke our master Yeshua to jealousy? Are we stronger than him? Are you stronger than Yeshua? You won't play these games? I don't think so. So what we have today commonly known as is we have people who try to, please everybody. We're going to do Pastor and Easter. Then you're not going to do Passover. No, you're not going to do Passover or Pesach and Easter. Okay? Because I can't find where Yahweh ever endorsed Easter. Now, Satan and the pagans endorsed Ishtar. I don't know how much time I got left, but before we bring this to a close, you need to know that Easter is well, just look at what they give the kids at Easter. Eggs and bunnies. So it deals with fertility. And when you're dealing with fertility, you're dealing with sex. And I never made the connection between Passover and sex. Because there's no sex. So we have holiness over here with Passover. Holiness over with Passover. And we have sexual sins and perversion. Okay? Most High wants to be chosen. So chosen you will serve this day. So in close, I'm going to read Genesis chapter 3, verses 1 through 4, and we'll come back with it in our second segment. It says Genesis 4. And the man Adam knew his wife Eve. That means they slept together. It's okay. I encourage men to sleep with only their wives. I encourage women only sleep with your wife. If I said that right. I'll say it again. I encourage men only to sleep with their wives. I encourage women only to be sleeping with their husbands. If you do that, and you practice that, God will have respect to you. because a marriage bed is sacred. But anyway, she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I've gotten a man. Verse 2 says, and she bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a herder of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Abel was a herder of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Herder of sheep, herder of sheep, herder of sheep, herder of sheep, a tiller of the ground. Okay? And it came to pass, in the end of those days, or the revolution of the year, at this time when they gave us offerings, we see this phrase in the days, it means at the revolution of the year, that Cain bought of the fruit of the ground and offered it to Yahweh. Okay? We're going to pause right there, and we'll be right back to see how this worked out for Cain. Shalom.